So how would I define Wright Ryan? Resourceful. If you've got a problem, the odds are that we can help you solve it, no matter how complicated it is. We've been interested primarily in projects that are very challenging, requiring a high level of quality, difficult construction techniques, new types of innovative thinking. And then we looked at projects that were community-oriented, and those were extremely important to us. Wright Ryan started in 1984, give or take, but we had a long history leading up to that. Tom Wright and I were old friends. Tom was a very handy guy. He gradually taught me how to do a few things, and we worked together summers. We had a job on a little island called Bates Island. It was about a mile from Cliff Island. We were using a little motorboat to go back and forth and ferry supplies out. Eventually, it broke down. We ended up rowing back and forth to the island. I can remember sitting in the seat, pulling on the oars and looking at Tom and saying, there has to be a better way to make a living than this. He went on to industrial arts, and I went into civil engineering, doing this underwater construction. We got together after that, and we're just talking about how short life could be. We spent a lot of our lives working, so why not work with somebody that you really like, doing something that you really enjoy?
I've been working here since I was 17 years old, and we were all very new at this, trying to find our way in the industry. We did a lot of small projects. Tom and John were right in the field swinging hammers alongside us, and then back to the office most evenings, late into the evenings.
I think often when you're starting out in a business, it's a good thing that you don't know what you don't know. If you knew it up front, you'd never do it. We'd had a kind of a series of 5-year plans. Well, let's really push it for 5 years and see what happens. Suddenly, things were starting to click. We were off and running.
We worked with Wright Ryan to build our home about close to 20 years ago. Wright Ryan had been working with my husband on commercial properties, and my husband thought they were really great, and I had never built a home before, and we met with Tom and John, and they were wonderful. We never even talked to anybody else.
We liked the small-scale residential, but we needed something a little more substantial to get the blood flowing. So we were trying to build a track record, and we agreed to build this enormous ice arena in 6 months. A lot of people were very skeptical. It was 51,000 square feet. They were calling the architect, they were calling the owner and saying, you can't hire these guys. They have nothing like this in their background. They have no idea what they're doing. Might have been right. Not only were we able to finish the job, we finished it in 5.5 months, knocked the socks off the owner.
The number of projects that I have done with Wright Ryan, I've learned a lot about construction technology. Working with a company which does both commercial, institutional, and residential work is valuable. We've done houses that had a lot of structural steel, and it was no big deal, but it could have been for a contractor who hadn't put up a steel frame before. Not a problem here.
Building the team, I think, was probably both the most challenging thing we faced and probably the most gratifying thing that we did in the long term. We combined a set of skills that was pretty unusual in our industry. And then we looked to build upon that set of skills by hiring people who were complementary.
They were originally my competition. I knew their work ethic. I knew their reputation was great service, great client relationships, great community members, and that word traveled fast. When my tenure ended at the previous firm, it was time to find a great firm to work for, and it was going to be John and Tom. I love the residential construction world. High quality, well-built homes with a high level of service. We can accommodate anyone. We provide all the millwork for virtually all of our houses. It's been a signature of ours for years. Not everyone can do it, and we're known for it.
People say, well, why are you an architect in pre-construction? And really what you're doing is you're designing the way the building is going to get built. You're not designing the building, but you're designing the way we're going to go about attacking it. I would say in everyone in the company, there's that just sort of that fascination with that project. How are we going to make this work? No matter how many times you've done a similar project, there is always a feeling of like, okay, we learned a lot last time. Now we're going to do it even better this time.
When I design a project, I like to be surrounded by the smartest people I can get in the room. If I'm working with Wright Ryan from the very beginning, I know that I have smart people in the room constantly looking at everything we do and critiquing everything we do. And that just makes for a better project. I and my clients get the benefit of all that knowledge and experience. So the bottom line is you get a better built project and you get a project built for the best possible price.
I get them to jump on board right from the start. Their pre-construction services are tremendous. So we are collaborators on the budget and on design. And I feel like once we get to the beginning of the project, they know as much as we do. Wright Ryan brings something very special to the table. I think it's their integrity and their real attention to the details of the project, really that helps a developer like myself. It's a really great collaboration.
So community projects have always been a big focus of ours.
I think my favorite project that I've worked on so far would have to be Elm Terrace.
Community Housing of Maine's primary mission is the creation of housing with supports for folks with special needs. It's not that Wright Ryan came into the interview and said, here's who we are and here's what we stand for, and they demonstrated it. The building, historic building that we're sitting in right here, was built in 1909, and it was built as a hospital. So this project made a major reduction in the number of folks who are using the homeless shelter. As far as I can tell, they're just as proud of the project as we are and just as happy to come have another look and talk to the tenants.
I walk by there every day on my way to work and see the people who are living there and really enjoying it. So that was a very fulfilling project.
Organizations like Congregation Bedom, where we are, really a very impressive community. They have a very strong spiritual mission. They developed a building, a design that really spoke to that mission and spoke to a spiritual connection with some very interesting, both intimate and kind of soaring spaces. There's not a straight wall or right angle, really a world-class building.
We always have high expectations, and we feel that Wright Ryan lives up to them. I think what separates them for us is just the constant attentiveness, whether it's at the beginning of a project or even a year later. There's a lot of collaboration that needs to take place in a 6 to 8 month construction project. So you have to have people that are quick on their feet, who work well with other people, who are problem solvers. We tend to stick with what works, and Wright Ryan's worked for us.
When it works and when you end up with a satisfied customer and you end up supporting important missions, I think that's what keeps people glued together at Wright Ryan. So how would I define Wright Ryan? I guess it's hard to do it in very few words.
Number one, it's the people.
Craftsmanship, honesty,
The great reputation.
Skilled.
Greg, word please, line.
High integrity.
Commitment to community.
Team. Bright people who are able to land on their feet, who are resourceful, who are thoughtful about how they do things. what we realize is that, yes, our goal is to build buildings, but probably more important, we're building relationships that make it possible for us to be successful.